Welcome to the driving seat.
Yeah!
Welcome to the driving seat.
Thanks, bro.
To episode 3. Do you know what the driving seat means?
I think I do. I'm not quite sure, but I think it means to be in control.
First time, try immediately the correct answer.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's...
It's like deja vu.
Rarely had this.
Yeah.
So today's episode, we're going to talk about cryptos or cryptocurrency and NFTs.
We can dive into it, but there's a certain stigma behind cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
So I tend to avoid it.
Tend to avoid cryptocurrencies or the
yes,
term?
the term. Because it's so cryptocurrency is the first proof of concept and still a live project that proved validity of using blockchain as a technology.
Yeah, I'm just going to close the window.
Sure. So I prefer the term blockchain technology more than cryptocurrencies, because cryptocurrencies in general have this monetary component to it.
Yeah, and it's broader than that.
More of blockchain is broader than cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
cryptocurrency is just a single use for it. Yeah.
Okay, so but that is what everybody knows, I guess, in terms of if people hear blockchain, they think crypto, and vice versa.
Yeah. So currently we're in a stage where not really that much unique use was. It was more of fixing the old type of problems. So that's why the cryptocurrency was such a big hype, because that was the first use of it.
Yeah.
This open ledger, completely transparent and decentralized.
Oh, you say old problems. What do you have to think about?
Well, if like, you know, for example, like driving a car, like invention of a car.
Yeah.
Like if people wanted a better transportation, they would get faster horses. So you need to think out of the box and propose a solution that was not unique by then. Mm-hmm. That isn't unique from that point of view.
Yeah.
But usually it's something revolutionary. It's something out of the box. It's not seen before.
Yeah.
And then after that, other engineers or thinkers go in and take that knowledge and then apply it to solve other existing problems that from the first glance wouldn't be a valid solution.
Okay. So what I understood from cryptos, the specific use of the blockchain, was that it was developed as a sort of an answer to the global financial crisis of 2008.
Yeah, I don't think we should waste time on going deep into the start or whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, came in after the bubble of 2008 crash, and it took a bit to kind of jumpstart. But like one of the use cases that I remember like really ingrained with me was a bunch of pioneers, Bitcoin pioneers, traveling to South America, and reaching out to farmers, and they gave them wallets, gave them some starting funds. Yeah. And then they let them use it. Mm-hmm. So for somebody in Venezuela, it was better to trade with Bitcoin than was with unstable local currency.
Okay.
So they fought inflation by using Bitcoin. And sure, the consequences of that is that there's probably a lot of rich farmers today.
Yeah.
But again, that's the proper use of mitigating the current fiat system and its flaws by proposing a new solution.
Okay, yeah. And you think that we'll see like because that's a local application for the Venezuelan farmers, you think it will see a more a broader application or a global application maybe even?
Specifically for finance?
Yeah.
So there's this cool book by Ray Dalio, The New World Order, and it actually follows like the global standard currencies, going from the Dutch
Yeah.
previous currency, then going into the pound, British pound, and then US dollar. And his perspective is that the Chinese currency is the next one to kind of
To
rule as
overtake.
the global reserve currency.
Yeah.
So in that context, I don't think it will ever happen, as in that we will all use blockchain.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a hybrid, a mixture.
Okay. Yeah.
Like you'll have roll on and roll off kind of bridges where you can swap fiat for crypto and vice versa.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I think cash is just so deeply ingrained in thousands of years of our cultures that it's
here to stay.
Hmm?
That's here to stay. So.
Well, it's I would say it's here to share a space.
Yeah.
with-
Yeah.
with
Okay. Yeah.
crypto.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. All right. So. So we mentioned crypto as an application of the blockchain, but there are more. I know of NFT.
Yeah.
But are there other ones?
So I can briefly start with NFTs.
Yeah.
Because NFTs have been in my opinion, the reason of the previous bubble that we're just kind of on the tail end of the down spiral.
Mm-hmm.
NFTs are, I mean, that's the point. Like since it was a bubble, it was overly inflated.
Yeah.
And people got some very bad misconceptions about it and misunderstandings. So when they say like, oh yeah, you own an image, you own a JPEG, well, I can copy it and move it here across.
Yeah, exactly.
So sure, yeah, that is the reason, but it's looking at specifically just that image. It's not, you kind of look at the multi-purpose of that functionality, not so much of, well, I can copy paste. Yeah, sure, you can copy paste, but you will never prove ownership of it.
Yeah.
If ever you're questioned.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have it. So similar to watermarking music, like you would send out dub music, but you would more watermark it. And in case it leaks out, you can kind of get that fingerprint back and know who leaked the
And
music.
trace it back to the original owner.
So I would kind of suggest people more to think of it like that, like a watermark more than, oh yeah, I can copy paste that JPEG.
Yeah.
But specifically, it's NFTs, non-fungible tokens, are byproduct of blockchain, where a cryptocurrency you can always trade one for one.
Yeah.
So my one Ethereum or Bitcoin is not different to your Bitcoin or Ethereum.
No.
But if we both mint NFTs, and even if they're the same image, just because one is numbered as issue 1 and the other one is issue 2, they're unique in itself.
Yeah.
And they cannot be like natively through the protocol traded one for one, because they're not. They're unique. So then, but the same mathematic applies that you can slice it up. You can create 2 NFTs out of 1 NFT. Give it to 1, give it to 2, consolidate them. You can do quite a lot of funky things with it.
Yeah.
But like my personal best example, like real purpose that I think is not so far, is Katastar, the parcel, like not parcel, but plot of land.
Yeah.
So you have an old man with 9 grandchildren, and he can easily digitalize his plot of land and slice it up like an NFT and give it to his children.
Okay. Yeah.
But then their children can, consolidate or give to somebody else, gift it, sell it, whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's a completely transparent and open way of looking who owns what plot of land.
Yeah.
So there's no bureaucracy or printing out certificates or what. No. You just look at the chain, you see what plot of land, and you have full history of who owned it at one point, who sold it where. Yeah, complete history of it.
Yeah, so it's fully transparent and.
But don't fall into that. It can be transparent, but it can be completely encrypted.
Okay,
So what people think is, oh, I need privacy, I need high level of encryption, I'm going to start my own chain.
Okay, yeah.
No, just encrypt and put on chain on a public chain.
Yeah.
So if you encrypt it and upload it or compile it or deploy it, it's going to be there. You're going to use the existing infrastructure into your own benefit of resiliency, security, and whatnot. But then only who you give the key can actually unencrypt it.
And but for instance, the cadastre example, that would be a public ledger, I suppose, or not? Or
well, no, you can encrypt it.
mm-hmm.
You can encrypt it that you can reveal what you own only upon request.
Yeah.
And you can generate that report, so to speak, only for the requester. Means that nobody else can open up that information.
Yeah.
So you can, but the point is, it should be, because by law you should publicly be able to see who owns what plot of land.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that will be handy. Do you think that governments will be ready for that? Because
well, like, I don't think they have a choice. But just because blockchain was on the fringes for so long,
yeah,
people think that the industry wasn't aware of it. And that is completely not true. I remember 2016 or 17 watching a panel on a blockchain conference
yeah,
with all big bank IT heads, all of them. And they said, yeah, we tested in the labs 4 years ago. Like, we are aware of it. We've been, trying to make our own flavors with it.
Yeah.
And yes, it's just a matter of time before Visa, I think they're already in the process, but completely migrating to it.
Completely migrating to?
To blockchain, internal, their own, so not a public one. They
Yeah.
control the network and the code that it's on. But internally, it's easier to so the current bottleneck in blockchain is volume.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Visa does, so I'm not sure about the numbers, but I think they do like 100 or 200,000 transactions per minute.
Yeah.
While we are still in the 5 to 10K range, like built on chain. Yeah. And there's a couple of different ways projects are like trying to battle it. One of them is a concept of sharding, where you split sharding. Yeah, not the T, the D.
Sharding, yeah.
Where you're running parallelly chains,
mm-hmm.
and then there's some cross communication between chains.
Yeah.
But it's more of in the decentralized but single chain formation, all validators have to approve every transaction.
Yeah.
And that is when we're talking about small, simple transactions, that's cool. But once you start doing contract calls and execution and some computational, heavy computations, then sharding is what you have to. Like, you're not going to congest whole network because you want to render a 3D model of something. But that's also one use case, that you can rent a rendering farm.
Yeah.
You can send in your source files, and then you will pay for it in crypto, and then they will spit out the end product.
Okay, yeah.
Like you use your own computer farm.
Yeah. All right. And so you gave the example of the plot of land, and why would that be better than, for instance, like physical ownership of a certificate?
Because you're relying on trusting an entity.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're printing certificates, that's you have to pay somebody for that labor.
Yeah.
And you can falsify a certificate.
Yeah.
And basically it's down to you people, well, not you, like all of us, trusting an agency or an institution within the country, and that, all banks and all other institutions trust that single institution.
Yeah.
And this way, blockchain was built from the ground up with the notion of you're not supposed to trust anybody.
Yeah, zero trust.
Zero trust. You are not, like, you are in complete power of your keys and your funds, and you're assuming that 51% of the network is legit.
Yeah.
And this way, like I will sell you a plot of land. No need to just sign a transaction, sign a call, sign a message, broadcast it. And with that, we don't pay anybody. We just pay the network for kind of archiving it.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, besides that, it's free.
It's free?
No lawyers, no follow-up.
Okay, yeah.
No, the proof of ownership is there on the chain. I don't have to generate a certificate. You don't have to ask for a certificate. No, it's I sign a message, that is me. You sign a message, that is me. That's it.
Yeah, there's less hassle.
Well, like less or more hassle. Ask somebody 5-10 years ago, how did crypto wallets look?
Yeah, okay.
So there's this. The problem is with the first generation Bitcoin specifically is that a lot of things were done in a dirty way.
Mm-hmm.
Not, a
lot dirty of meaning not like
optimal,
mean, but suboptimal.
Suboptimal, exactly.
Yeah.
So you there was a lot of refactorization, but once network got so big and the miners and the exchanges had more and more power, there is emphasis on this stoic kind of code running still with Bitcoin.
Stoic?
Like old school. Like they're the foundation, and the whole chain is one of the least prone to changes.
Okay.
And that can be a good as a bad thing. Right?
Yeah.
So because being hard to move, to change, means that over time people gain more trust in it.
Yeah.
Because it's
proven itself.
Yeah. But people running network, miners, whatnot, are also an entity. They lobby for their own interests. So of course, miners will want to earn more through participating in the network. But we as consumers, we would want to spend less on transaction costs.
Yeah.
So, and then the foundation, the programmers that actually maintain the code, they have to balance between the two and still keep it open to new development, new applications.
Yeah, tough job.
Yeah. And then I don't think foundations get enough credit for the difficult job that they need to do.
Yeah, they also get a lot of shit, I suppose.
Yeah. Because it's interests. As soon as it's money in on the field, in the game, it gets harder.
Yeah, and is it the case that these people that lay the foundations are getting rich themselves? Like because you hear a lot of stories of crypto millionaires, but is it necessarily also the founders of these platforms that also get loaded? Or if we're not talking about scams, which are obvious, just rug pulls that people want to get out, no, they don't care. Like the most, I guess, influential people that I've met in blockchain space, they all really, to the core, don't care what the price of Bitcoin is today, tomorrow, or yesterday. Yeah.
If they earn from it, they balance their stash, like to have enough fiat or local currencies or several cryptos, because they're all individually, they're all kind of keep the trends with Ethereum and Bitcoin being the biggest ones.
Yeah.
But essentially people that are contributing to projects like this don't really care. Like it's the day traders, the economists, the people that want to get rich quick schemes.
Yeah.
No.
So what's their drive? Like they're in it for because it's interesting and it's exciting, or?
Before it was very much this rebel, fuck the government, we want to control everything ourselves type of thing.
Yeah.
But then later on, it's how general technology and how everybody got online faster and faster.
Yeah.
It kind of creates this notion that internet should have been built this way. So one simple example would be blockchain social media network.
How would that look like though?
Well, simply put, it would be your profile would be a smart contract under your wallet, which you have complete right to control. And then the network itself can be just a simple front page where the network moderators choose how to include you or not. So like they can censor you from not showing you on your front page, but anybody can easily access your profile bypassing the front page. And you have keys of that smart contract, so you control how your profile looks. Nobody can, you can put whatever you want on it.
Yeah, and so you wouldn't have like a feed that's dictated by an algorithm.
It can, like that small detail that's trivial. It's more of that when you use that platform, cannot connect it to a wallet, is that every time that front page gives you an ad, you as somebody who watched that ad can get paid for it because you're wasting your attention. They're buying your attention. So that's one example that you can easily streamline who has earned X amount of money through either watching ads or deploying ads on their own profile, or people that made the ads. They can see that the platform didn't manipulate how much that ad was viewed or streamed.
So but that would radically change probably the way the social media space is capitalized.
But if you look at the S curve of social media, it always starts with, come on everybody, get on board, we're amazing, we're going to give you all the rights to your data, you can download whatever. And then once they start kicking in with profit, then it's like, no, that's ours, no, making it harder. Or you really want to delete your account? Why would you delete your account? Why? Or you really want to download all? Why would you? No, everything is there, shacked, we're keeping it for you, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I went through that when I deleted Facebook, and I like had to look up how to do it, and then also how to download. I was like, just for the sake of it, I'm gonna download all the files that I saved or something, and you get like I don't know what you get anymore because I probably tossed it away, but like a 400-page file or something, probably 4,000 more like. And you're like, whoa, what is this? It's just all the information is crazy. Cool. I think it will be interesting to see. And do you think that are there already these type of social media platforms popping up?
Yeah, but it's all tied to a network effect. It's during the previous bubble, the ICO bubble in 18. Like a lot of popular celebrity influencers were tied to promoting scams. And they had no clue what they were promoting because they don't know blockchain. They were just in it for the money, right? I mean, and I don't judge them at all. I mean, I judge them that you should actually research what you're promoting. But at the end of the day...
Do you have an example of one of those promotions?
Floyd Mayweather Centra Visa card, crypto Visa card. Like just a complete scam. It was running parallel to a couple of other crypto Visa debit cards, so it kind of muffled a bit to see it straight away that it's a scam. But that kind of gave a negative push to the perception of blockchain and people promoting it. So one example now is that Matt Damon with Crypto.com, where like he was paid tons, but it's people don't like it's network effect, meaning there needs to be an opposite act to it, like that somebody promotes it and then there's a network effect of each person inviting to, like just general how any social media network can expand it to a large number. It's like exponentially people spread it more and more and more. So for that, I kind of know of a couple of, but it's very much still in development. And people think that during the low season of when bubbles burst, and there's that couple of months or years of stagnation, that just looks from the outside. That's just price stagnation. At that time, usually there's a bunch of teams trying to think of really funky solutions to problems that we don't even know we have.
Don't even think about it. So that's development prosperity.
Yeah. So I bet now post NFT bubble, there's a lot of people actually extending into functionality of NFT.
Yeah.
So it's not more only a minted JPEG, but it's a festival ticket that gets you merch and gets you free, perks, and that kind of gets you into a raffle that later, and that's completely, you can make it transparent. Like it's so easy to make a lottery on the blockchain and prove to all participants that it's
completely fair.
Completely fair.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the uses of NFTs, like that I kind of found funky, is in games. Like you can easily prove that this sword killed the first time ever the final boss.
Yeah.
And you have it recorded, who was that account. And then you take that player, takes that NFT and, can import it into another game that was just a spin-off, community-built spin-off of that lore.
Yeah.
And, there's a new game where he's using exactly the same item.
And everybody's like, whoa.
Exactly. But the point is that you can prove that it's not forged.
Yeah.
That is exactly that item.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. And you also give some history to your
exactly.
items. And it's
exactly.
not just like,
it gives them purpose.
Yeah.
It's not just that JPEG with a couple of stats. No, it's that item killed that boss.
Yeah. Yeah, because the most famous example that I think everybody, or like most people know, is the ape. But that also is not just an image. It also gives you access to like exclusive places, what I've heard of. I haven't really dived into it too much.
The ape thing, I kind of see like Yeezys.
What?
Yeezys, like Jay-Z's shoes. They might be comfortable, but they're expensive, and there's more of this marketing depth to it. That there's some type of marketing machinery behind it.
Yeah, but is it also not what you need a little bit? Like those first adopters need to be a little bit crazy just about the idea of having it instead of like having it any value. Yeah, that's maybe not really a technical question.
No. It's I see where you're coming from, and I say it's really tough question. Tough. Like I am against minting and creating tokens just
for the sake of it.
Yeah, like that's it has to have a real purpose behind it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate more projects that started it, built some community of pioneers and early adopters, and once they had the application or system or platform stable, up and running, then they run a token sale, and then they they include the early adopters and the pioneers, because then they feel part of the community, because at that point people's expectations and effort went into they really like this idea. There's not I'm gonna do this so I can earn some money. No, I'm really hyped about this idea, and I'm gonna spend 2 nights devoted to it,
like researching
or contributing with code, art, or whatever.
There's many things you can do, I suppose.
So to circle back to your question, there's probably a lot of people doing it just because they think that they can quickly earn some money, but they wash away every bull and bear runs. Like as soon as it goes down, as soon as we're not making any more money, they wash up. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess, and I think also a lot of people who then make a lot of money buy out. They're like, okay, that's it. So
that is what I've heard most people making a mistake. It's not cashing in on prizes. Like if you bought 5 years ago and you still haven't sold any, that means that you just, unless you forgot about it and don't care about it. Yeah. But if you follow the price, then you just went through that emotional roller coaster. Yeah. Oh, it's 60,000. Oh, it's 10,000. Oh, it's 60,000. Oh, it's 10,000. But if you sell at 55, at 50, it's still pretty good. Yeah. But and you shouldn't think, it might go to 100. Yeah, sure. But you gotta, take some profit back. Yeah. And then you're not part of this emotional roller coaster. No, you're just playing the game. Yeah. Okay, but you do advocate like selling some, buying some again, or I cannot comment that. No. Like I to who, each can have their own strategies.
To each their own. Yeah,
I'm not an economist, and I don't know macroeconomics. I'm barely getting used to now microeconomics, so I can't.
No comment.
Yeah, no. I mean, no comment makes me look less stupid than I say, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Fair. That's fair.
So.
But now you said both.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
That's okay. No, it's also not. We're not here to get financial advice or anything, and I also don't think it's that interesting. Up to a certain degree. But it's a different topic, I think.
So when you look at crypto investors that do the technical analysis, that draw the diagrams and the lines, for me it's hard to be sure that it's not your wishes drawing that. You already know where you want to go, but then you're gonna engineer that path to get there.
Yeah.
And there was not a single TA explanation that I felt that it holded water. Like I'm
a TA,
technical analysis.
Oh yeah.
Those drawing lines.
Yeah.
Like most of it comes from that fundamentals, investing through fundamentals, understanding fundamentals.
Yeah.
Like understanding, there's a coin for that niche specific purpose. Does it have perspective? Does it actually solve the problem?
Yeah.
I look at it from that, like an engineer.
Yeah, and I think also think that's more interesting. That's how you should, like holistically looking at the coins, but also just in general. This goes for stocks as well.
Mm-hmm.
If a company is overinflated or undervalued, then it's interesting. And you look at the application, what's it gonna do? Of course, you can't predict the future or anything, but yeah, there are certain things you can say, of course.
Yeah.
So we've had crypto, we've had NFT.
So yeah. No, I think I know where you're going. Is there anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's two more concepts that have been stapled in as a good foundation.
Uh-huh.
One would be DeFi, decentralized finance.
Yeah.
And that was very much previous bubbles kind of tagline, where it's basically programmers taking existing financial products and reprogramming them in a decentralized manner.
Okay.
Loans, investments, tokenizations, anything that you could get somebody from a bank to, productize it for you, you could do it here.
Okay.
So including long and short betting, just general financial stuff, including micro, flash loans, where it's you decide. So every block has a certain limit of instructions it can perform. So you try to squeeze in one block chain of multiple transactions that profit on arbitrage.
Okay.
So you will pick up a loan on one platform.
Yeah.
You will buy currency on the same platform, a different crypto. You will take that crypto to a different platform. You will resell it. You will hedge it against a different one. You will get the same currency as the one you started with, and you will just repay your debt.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that in one transaction, you will pay tons of transaction costs.
Yeah.
But if for example, top of my head, but there was 7 steps transaction calls in one block. The guy spent $60,000 or $70,000 for the transaction to pay that it's in the same transaction, but he hedged a $12 million loan and got 2.4 out of it.
Okay.
Profit. But that's all DeFi, so decentralized finance.
Okay.
And then the third one would be a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. I think that's it. Which is basically can be anything from a forum to small society to an LLC, like a company. And it's closer to kind of categorizing how people got together, consolidated some monetary funds, and then they decide, they run a vote, what do they want to do with that funds. So one example was the Constitution DAO, where a bunch of people wanted to buy a page from the Constitution on a live trade show, or what is it called? Where you openly bid. They lost by, I think, a couple of dollars, but it was a great way of crowdfunding for a purpose. And then just because everybody can audit the code that's running, so that DAO, you could see that completely transparently, that you as a founder and me who invested, we have the completely same rights, voting rights. It's how much we put in, and there's no need to structure an organization where you write like with lawyers' positions and whatnot. No, it's you can kind of spin up a DAO for your building tenants. Like how do we want to decide to do with the money, or do we want to invest something in new stairs or whatnot?
And here painting of the stairs, but it's still a long time coming.
All these Dutch stairs, man.
Well, also Dutch decision making sometimes, but it's a topic of a different podcast, I'm afraid. So we talked about getting back to the internet. You said that a lot of people said the internet should have been set up in a different way. Is that alluding to Web 3.0 or?
Yeah. So Web 3 is a buzzword, same as cloud and whatnot. So it kind of means a lot of things to a lot of people. But essentially, so Web 1 was simple hub-spoke topology. You had a browser, you connected to the server, and when you had some type of response. Then during Web 2, people realized that you can build clusters of computational power, and you can spread them geographically, and then all of a sudden it became clouds. It became a cloud. So, and with that, you had a lot of single point systems, as in like local databases, which were running on site, now were in the cloud, and people could access it from home, from the office. You just needed an internet connection. And now with Web 3, we're kind of looking at it as a transition from this Web 2 world where we had the underlying internet technology, then it was an application level on top, kind of refactor it into, okay, the underlying technology is not a single computer, it's not a cluster of computers, but it's actually a completely flat protocol that auto-balances itself and has resiliency implemented into it. So you as a browser would request that site, or like you would pay for that site to be delivered to you, but then the owner of the site will prosper from it, like not the telco itself. Or so it's now like reimagining this whole history of what we had on the internet, that like it allows for you to pay your internet bill like natively through the protocol, because the device knows the throughput that you pay, and the ISP knows can issue a receipt to you completely transparently within natively through crypto. And now it's like, let's reimagine the whole internet in this decentralized where we don't trust each other, but we're not supposed to trust each other.
Yeah. Okay. And And what kind of role do the data centers then play in that infrastructure?
Well, you're not going to come in and burn everything existing, you know.
Right.
Like you're going to repurpose it. So from technical point of view, they just become another node on the network.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I don't think nobody's going out of business. I mean, who's not going out of business will be those that don't adapt to it, and it's they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So like we saw that with restaurants during COVID who didn't have a website, then they scrambled. But thank God we live in a world where you have Squarespace and you just plug and play and within 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes, yeah.
I mean, I don't know about your experience, but 10 years ago you needed a proper website designer who was graphic design educated, and has programming skills to do the back end and whatnot. And then you pay tons. Today it's streamlined. So and I kind of expect it's going to be similar with blockchain.
So now you have a website on demand. What would you then have on demand? Like you can make a web shop on demand nowadays, fairly easily. What kind of applications do I need to think about?
It's anything and everything. So anything from your ticketing system can be in that way. Can be customer relationship management tools. Can be like asset management, like any type of software that you now use and is on the cloud. So it doesn't have it's not dependent on this very low latency. You could run on the blockchain. Like it's a Turing complete infrastructure, so you can do a lot of things. And you might show that, I don't know, is it first or second diagram? It's a bit too slow, but it goes like, why should you use a blockchain? It has those couple of sets of questions.
Yeah, that's the first one. I will put it in the video.
So that kind of shows you you're not supposed to put everything into blockchain. No, it's not. That's not its purpose. Same as putting .com into your company name 20 years ago. Before the .com crash. Yeah. It's people try to force a round knob down a square peg. No, square peg down a round hole, right? Like
one way or the other.
Or the other.
Yeah.
Well, one hurts more than the other. Yeah.
I don't know.
But you shouldn't put everything on the chain. Yeah. Because you have to pay for storage costs. Like somebody has to compute that.
Yeah, of course.
So it's the current best example until kind of sharding picks up is you will store something locally in 2 or 3 different places, and then you will generate a checksum of it, and you will store that checksum on the chain. So you can, at any point, you can reference, is that local copy the same one that's registered on the chain? Yeah. That, you can prove validity, right? That it's the same file, exactly the same file, and it hasn't been tampered. So that's a better purpose of, having heavy amounts of data locally stored, but authenticated or validated through the chain.
Yeah. All right. Interesting stuff. It's difficult to grasp, I have to.
The problem is that we still, I haven't found, the Catastrophe is one example, but it's very difficult to find those aha solutions when, I still feel that I'm plagued with the old school way of thinking.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to use a 2-factor authentication on my phone.
Yeah.
No, Airbnb can be completely built on blockchain, where your private key opens up a door by scanning a QR code that's from that door. The escrow is DeFi. There's a anonymous dispute mechanism where a council is formed completely randomly to look into a dispute. Did he actually, do something bad to the tenant or whatnot? Yeah. So yes, it can, things like these can be built, but it's so much easier when you call up Airbnb and say, hey, this stood me up. Can you refund me money?
Yeah.
And that's what doesn't exist. When you lose your keys to your wallet, it's gone.
Yeah. You're fucked.
Yeah. Let's see when quantum computers come, but till then, yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Okay. And so we've talked about several applications now of the blockchain, basically. And how do you see? And we talked a little bit about like future applications. Do you have any more ideas on how you see the future of blockchain?
So I'm looking for the next big thing. Like I think DAO, NFTs, and DeFi are the trifecta of what contemporary applications will be built on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mention of now people are trying to gamify, like make it as a term, like try to make decentralized games, because the mobile game industry is currently huge.
Yeah.
And people want to jump into it. So that gamify is currently a big word. But for me, what's interesting now is the private shards.
Mm-hmm.
So private shard would be like something like Ethereum or Cosmos. Like I'm not gonna drop names because people would then think that I
promote those,
but I'm not. Is when you rely on the bulletproof code of that protocol, but you create your own private application. So, for example, a private hedge fund can have its all decision making go through this private shard. But because it shares the technology with an existing public chain, there can be a bridge that requests information from the outside. So there's this concept in blockchain technology called an oracle.
Yeah.
So oracle is an entity or code or purpose or whatnot that is there to bring information from the outside. So it's supposed to give you the state of something that is off chain.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're building applications, you want finality, you want calls being executed with data that's on chain.
Yeah.
That's easy to prove, and that's part of the ecosystem. But when you want to know the price of US dollar with euro, you need to reach out somewhere. So usually you would have 2 or 3 independent oracles, and you would ask each one of them, hey, what's the price of US dollar and euro?
Yeah.
They would respond to you. You would run some type of average. So the point is that you have a bunch of these already oracles on major chains, but you can have your own private shard where you're doing, hedge fund mechanics, and then you can reach out to the public chain when you need this information. Hey, what's the price of USD euro? Hey, what's the price of Microsoft stock now? Hey, what's this and that?
Yeah.
So your inner mechanics, voting, your hedge fund managers communicate through this private shard, and it's all encrypted and decentralized. So if your main data center goes down, there's no disaster recovery per se, but it's well balanced. It's already well resilient within the network. So that's one of the things that I'm currently a bit hyped about. It's this being able to run a semi-private shard with your own application. Because up till now, when you wanted to deploy code, there were ways where you can pre-compile it, but essentially you trusted people's code because you could see the code, you can audit it. So it's harder when you have to have IP type of use cases, where you kind of don't want everybody, something's your secret sauce.
Yeah.
So that type of thing will require you to encrypt it somehow and put it on chain. With this way, no, you just run everything within your private shard, and it shouldn't get out, right? Because those bridges just used for communication purposes. Or
so how is it then protected from the outside?
Well, exactly. Like you decide who are the participants of that shard. Okay. So, but the point is that the code that's running within that shard has been already proven in public use. But again, you will have to run your own validators. So it's kind of like you will have to set it up again, but you don't pay transaction costs for calls.
Yeah.
You're not congested by the public network. You're in your own little bubble.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a shard of the bigger piece.
Yeah.
That's why it's called a shard now. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Oh, yeah. And if there are developments in the public domain, you can look at them and possibly also adopt them. Okay. Yeah. Interesting use case indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So and how do you see the future of because we talked about NFT, DAO, DeFi.
There's probably not going to be one to rule them all.
Mm-hmm. Not like what Navarro Count said in one of those podcasts that we watched together, by the way, that there will be one monolith and many small ones trailing behind.
I can't remember really what the context, what he gave the response to, but
so that was specifically about like companies serving a certain purpose. So like you have Amazon, which is a really big, we know what it is. The deliver packages, and then you have several like PostNL here in the Netherlands, and you have DHL and several small ones.
So like I tend to look at it in a way of what is the niche, or what are you focusing on? Because if you look at like what was 20, 30 years ago, Craigslist owned by AT&T, and then it became like a small subgroup for couch surfing, and then it kind of spilled over into forums, and then a couple of geeks came in and said, hey, I think we can run with this.
Yeah.
And then you get Airbnb.
Yeah.
So it's there, but AT&T wasn't focusing on Craigslist or on that small specific section.
No.
Like the logistical companies weren't focusing on ride-sharing applications. Like, no, they just wanted to bring freights from A to B.
Yeah.
So it all depends on who focuses. And then once you have a company that focuses that and becomes a disruptor, then they become big. So Amazon was just trying to sell better books, a better way to sell books. But then they blew up. And then, like somebody else can pick up something from them, like AWS, like their cloud. They're the most popular cloud provider in the world. Like, I doubt somebody else will take it and run with it, but they can. Like they can focus on it and make better and become a disruptor and earn more. So I think it's very much of that. There usually tends to be somebody big and there's a tail of smaller ones, but every once in a while that small one will focus on something and they will do it so well that the big can't ignore them anymore. Yeah. So, but in this case you have Bitcoin, which is this relic of old school, like really ancient code. Then you had Ethereum that popped in, that kind of brought this functionality of smart contracts, like loops. You're able to perform loop functions. And now, what's the next thing? Like we're probably going to make efficient even more to write applications for. That's basically the point that this point in time, we have a really good way of solving that consensus layer. Yeah. Consensus layer meaning the foundation of security. Yeah. Like I trust you generated that transaction and I will approve it. Yeah. Now it's more of the top level, like the applications that come on top. Like what would be the application itself? So, and that plus the sharding, like the splitting up the load, that will. That's the thing. I cannot imagine. Like I can see everything being used to that. Like from IoT, like your fridge knows when it doesn't have eggs, and then it makes a transaction and orders it from the local grocery store, and it gets delivered. Yeah. So but then your fridge talks to your TV and realizes that you haven't been at home for a while, and then tells the TV go into standby. Yeah. So but that's general IoT. Yeah. But when you put it on blockchain, you can do it like you can see that transaction calls happening while you're away.
Yeah, so it doesn't accidentally order too many eggs or something.
Sure. Yeah.
Or
sure.
orders eggs when you're away.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the point is that you don't have to open up a firewall rule.
Yeah.
You're locally authenticate with a third-party provider within their own website. No. It's just an application that runs decentralized.
Cool. All right. So now we've also had the Internet of Things, really touching base on everything.
Yeah, we're trying to.
So we said we're not interested in financial advice, or at least that's also not my main interest, at least for this podcast. Or would you advise people to invest in cryptos though?
Invest money? I cannot say. Like invest time to research? Yes.
Yeah.
Because money is subjective, like 10 euros to you and to me have different values, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's 10 euros, right? But it's to tell somebody, hey, put 100 euros of your savings into this when their savings are 500 euros. Like,
yeah, it's a big gamble.
That's the point. It's a gamble.
Yeah.
So if you are a gambler, go ahead.
Yeah.
Like, be sure that I would, if I am a gambler, but I try to not gamble.
Yeah.
But if I gamble, I trust more decentralized applications than a betting house.
Yeah.
So if you do gamble, go gamble, and it's probably more transparent than, unless it's a scam, but that's small asterisk. Yeah. It's like I would trust betting applications audited and decentralized more than a big betting house.
Yeah, but maybe some people like to gamble and have the pleasure of the.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't, by the way. Yeah. And I really don't like gambling, or I don't know if I do because I've never done it.
So I would not recommend money investment, but attention, time. Yeah. If you can read up about it, just that you're aware of what the new tech trend might be.
And so where would be a good place to start? So imagine someone is listening in on the podcast or watching it on YouTube, and they're like, okay, this is very interesting, but I don't understand half of it. So where do I start?
So as I said, like a lot of the old solutions were inefficient. So, and the tech moves quite fast. So I have only one source that I always recommend. Yeah. And it's a playlist on YouTube. It's from A16Z. It's an investment firm. Yeah. And they do, it's called Startup Crypto School.
Okay. I'll include a link in the description.
Yeah. So they took a bunch of startup entrepreneurs that wanted to build projects in Web3 space, and they ran them through a boot camp. And some of the talks were amazing. Like short, between 30 and 45 minutes, but they touch essentially the core of every topic that they take, in my opinion. Yeah. And just down my style. They don't mention like fiat values at all. Like, yeah, Bitcoin is 60, nobody cares. Bitcoin is 45K, nobody cares. It's
about the concept.
It's about the technology, the underlying framework.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Any other recommendations?
No. Like just Google it, because it's there's so like I understand that I have a different concept of doing your own research than some other people might. Yeah. So I honestly, there was not a single, except for that playlist, there was not a single source that I completely agree with. Either it was people that understand the tech and have interesting ideas and concepts or views, but essentially were hardcore Bitcoin purists. Okay. So they didn't believe in Ethereum or, and then you're like, well, like, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. I see it as, the horse breeders crying when the Ford car came out.
Okay,
no, you're in that old concept and you're not open-minded.
Yeah, fair. All right, cool. I think we have a beautiful podcast together. But do you have anything more to add? There's something that we missed or skipped?
No, maybe just mentioned we're currently, a couple of us, doing market research for a potential Web3 project.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes in the next couple of weeks, but we're looking into potentially. We like equal opportunity, we're gonna see if we can make a platform where you can sponsor kids to play football, and potentially get something back from it. But just like this, have as many kids as possible have a scholarship to at least play football, and potentially have a shot at professional career. So either it's moving, paying bus tickets to actually attend trainings or go to tryouts we're looking into that.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
Nice.
For that, I'll be back for the next podcast.
Yeah, definitely. If that is a little bit more mature, then I'm definitely curious how that looks. For sure.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming, man.
And I hope it wasn't too boring.
I'm sure it's not. Yeah. Thanks for listening in again to the third episode. We'll provide the links and see you on the next podcast. Thank you very much.